Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of April 19th, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an exciting week it is. There's always that possibility for absolute excitement. What makes this week exciting, among a lot of other things, is the energy of hope that is in the air. But there's also some energy balancing that out with disappointment. And this is a week when we will see the wisdom of both. Because right smack dab in the middle of the week, we have some rare and really wonderful astrological phenomenon that speaks to the opportunity for absolute empowerment and truly meaningful change. Change from the inside out, and change that makes a really big difference. Let me start off with Mercury and Mars. So these two planets are really going to be the most active this week. If you think back or want to watch the introduction to last week, Mars was speaking with Neptune and speaking with Jupiter as well. So there was very much that energy of being inspired, but then perhaps not necessarily gauging what's overshooting it, what's undershooting it, making promises that maybe on some level you're like, I don't know if this makes sense. Maybe not always listening to our intuition as well, because we're so focused on what we want that we're not listening to some more subtle cues. Well, that trend is going to continue into this week, and thanks to Mercury, actually. Mercury, as the week starts, is going to be rushing towards Mars, and they will actually meet in the sky in the middle of the week. But just before we get there, Mercury will retrace Mars's steps from last week. And so this is about talks and ideas and plans going a little bit further. But continuing on that sort of theme where we're going to be really inspired, there will be really great ideas. And this is great if you're mystically inclined, if you're a writer or poet, or in any way you need to infuse a sense of faith to words. This is really great for having a tough conversation as well. However, with Jupiter there, speaking also with Mercury, it does suggest that you're going to want to watch that you are not agreeing to something that on some level doesn't feel right, and that you are not perhaps making promises that are bigger than you know that would be easy to keep. The other thing also with this, it has to do with agreements. So be mindful. What are you agreeing to? What are you promising? And also, you know, I'm reminded when I look at the sky, I'm reminded of the adage that says most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what can be done in 10 years. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, underestimate what can be done in 10 years. I have found this to be true again and again. And this is one of those weeks where we may be making plans that are really a huge overestimation. But what's really great is we are empowered by this. Something about this seems absolutely inspiring. So I think some people just aren't going to care. They're going to be so caught up in the moment and the emotion of it as they find themselves just really lit up by some wonderful ideas. You add to this the fact that Venus will be speaking with Neptune and with Jupiter as well, and sort of doing it backwards, if you will. So whereas Mercury is speaking in harmony with Neptune, Venus is speaking in tension with Neptune, whereas Mercury is speaking in tension with Jupiter, Venus is speaking in harmony with Jupiter. Now, Venus and Jupiter, when they speak, and especially in harmony as well, but in general, when they speak, it's the good life. That's really what it comes down to. And I look at this with Neptune and Venus, that to me tends to be about acknowledging disappointment, which is going to be one of the themes that arises this week. So acknowledging disappointment, but also striving to be honest with yourselves in matters of heart and money. But then Jupiter's there speaking in harmony, and I think some of us just aren't going to care. This is about, there's the real possibility right now of overdoing it. And so what I mean by that is, you know, really good food and really good wine and whatever your sort of enjoying life staple is, you may just overdo it now. Really good shopping, really beautiful clothes, all of that very heightened now. And so if you are so inclined, you might want to be mindful of that. And even with all these energies playing out, we still have in the middle of the week. Mars and Mercury speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. Now, these two planets speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. This happens, Mars right now having this conversation usually happens about once a year or so, or twice in a 2-year cycle. So it does tend to represent a special time. And it does represent a time when we are empowered, where we feel really determined. We feel like we know what it is that we have to do, what we can do to move our lives towards the change that we desire. We're taking ownership for the life that we desire, and we're moving ourselves purposely forward. It can be having a little bit of an adrenaline rush. It can be having a little bit of a high even as we get sort of whipped up in a bit of a frenzy for the changes that could be. But for all that, both planets are in Earth signs, Mars and Pluto, both in Earth signs. So shouldn't be too much getting carried away. Should be enough groundedness to actually materialize something, to see the pathway to action is ultimately to materialize. We've also got Mercury in the mix as well, which suggests that conversations, agreements may very well be a part of this inspiration. Now, again, it is not uncommon in the universe to have sort of many energies playing out, and we can tap into all of them, learn from all of them, move our lives forward. And so even though there is, as I said, be careful with agreements, be careful what you're promising, make sure you're seeing what actually is instead of what you want. At the same time, it is our perception that is making us really happy and inspiring us to make some changes, to tap into our personal power as well. So there is that balance, yes, but at the same time, you know, I'm really of the belief if you are in touch with what you want to do, what you really want to do, then you act from that place. Then there's no need for regret in the bigger picture. Because in the bigger picture, you can look back and say, you know, I did exactly what I wanted to do. I think that comes from a quote from Marilyn Monroe, actually. I remember reading that a long time ago. Also this week, Sun speaks with Taurus, or no, Sun moves into Taurus, actually. The Sun moves into the sign of Taurus. So happy birthday month to all the Taurians out there. And when the Sun changes signs, it really is sort of an energetic new month, if you will, as the Sun will move through the sign for the next 30 days. And this tends to be a time, Taurus, the sign of earthly delight. I really think that ultimately Taurus is a sign of enjoying the incarnation and remembering that we're incarnated for a reason. And it isn't just to toil, even though Taurus is associated with toiling, but it's also associated with enjoying the 5 senses as well. With the Sun moving into this part of the sky, it tends to denote a time when we are paying more attention to things like the way fabrics feel, the way that the food actually tastes. Foodies or stuff that appeals to foodies is likely to get a lot more attention in the media as well, and chefs tend to get a lot more attention as well. But for all that, it does look like a really good time to remember and to count your blessings for being incarnated exactly at this time. Well, thank you so much, everybody out there, for watching. Truly so grateful for it. I have a very quick FAQ that I wanted to answer. I'm not going to use the person's name because it was actually sort of a YouTube comment. And it inspired me, and I didn't know how personal I could get or not. So I thought, okay, let me leave the name aside and let me just paraphrase here. Somebody reached out and said, you know, Nadiya, I love your horoscopes. Thank you so much for that. That I love your horoscopes. I love watching you, but I don't think I can do it anymore. My life has sucked for a really long time, and every week I watch you, and I think this week is going to be great because Nadiya said so, but at the end of the week, my life still sucks. So I wanted to answer that. First of all, when I read that, I wanted to give you a really big hug, okay? A really big hug. I felt it because I know what that's like. I know, and I think to be human is to know. And especially if you're an astrologer or a student of astrology, you know that life isn't always smooth and that we cannot be Pollyanna about things, right? And I really hope that I am not, because that's not how I view the world. I think that there are times that certainly are challenging, especially if we're going through, again, for students of astrology out there, if you are having a tough aspect from Saturn, if you're having a tough aspect from Pluto, especially to the personal planets, it can be very difficult. And I know I've been there, but it can be really difficult to remember that as part of the mystery, we are moving in a positive direction. As part of the mystery, even those times that feel confusing or painful or just downright unfair have their place as part of moving our lives in the larger trajectory towards greater love and greater wisdom. But I will say this. You are participating in the unfolding of the universe. The universe, the stars are not something that is happening to us. It is something that we work with. Now, it is always, always your choice if you are going to put yourself in alignment with the universe to use those energies to your advantage, to learn, to contemplate, to grow, and especially to grow wiser, to grow more loving. It always is your choice to do that. And it's always your choice not to do that as well. At the end of it all, I do believe that there is an energy that is infusing everyone and everything, and that this energy is evolving, and that this energy is what I like to call love and wisdom. And it is this energy that we're here to more and more fully embody. And so that's what I like to, and that's what I do see when I look at the sky, even with the things that are challenging. Again, I know that there are times not seeing your individual chart in front of me. I know that there are times that it can feel like that is the last thing that is happening. I know that there are times when I sit here or stand here and do the horoscopes, and it reminds me when I'm not feeling connected to this truth that I believe. And I believe this because I've been there. I've been through those times when all these amazing things were happening in the sky. And I knew on some level that I really should tap into this energy. I knew on some level that I really can align myself with this and something good can come from it. But I just didn't have it in me to do. And it has been in those times when I've sat in front of you and just sharing with you my love of the cosmos and what I see has allowed me to remember this truth. Whether or not I had the energy or the will even to align myself with it, I know that it is there, and I know that opportunity is there. It is an amazing thing being a human being at this point in our collective development. Now, more than any other time, more of us have the ability to take responsibility for our happiness, have the ability to move our lives in any direction we choose, even when it doesn't feel that way. The truth is, we have a tremendous amount of power, and there are times that ask us to seize that power that is always with you, and there are times when it feels hard to grasp. My hope is that whether you're in one of those times and one of those cycles in life where it feels hard to grasp, know that it will pass and life will feel more manageable. Life will feel like it's something that you actually can direct towards your greater happiness. And my hope really for you, especially who wrote that to me, and know that I'm sending you very big energetic hugs, and to all people out there. And perhaps I'm even sending this message to myself as well, because again, I go through these as well. My chart is unfolding right along with you guys as well. And it is in those moments, again, I sit in front of you and I share this, and I remember that even when it's hard to feel it with every fiber of my being, I believe with every fiber of my being that the universe is wise and loving, that the universe wants you to be happy, wants you to fulfill your potential, and to be whatever it is that you need to be at your absolute happiest. Challenges are a part of that, and these moments where that feels so elusive is a part of moving you towards greater love and greater wisdom as well. Obviously, this is something I'm really passionate about, and I thank you so much. Please do keep your comments coming. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and YouTube comments. As I just said, this came from a YouTube comment. Please do keep them coming. I love my interactions with you. Sometimes I'm asked questions that are a little bit more personal, that have to do with your unique birth chart. Please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can do just that, create a custom video for you where it is uniquely and only for you. And you can find out more about that on my website. Also, thank you so much. I announced last week that I was going to be at Lilydale giving a presentation, Lilydale Assembly in New York State, giving a presentation on the 19th of August. On the 20th of August, I had a very limited number of spaces available. I thank you guys so much for reaching out, for being enthusiastic about that. And so there are a few more slots available. If you are going to be in New York State, if you are so inspired to visit really this very special and renowned place where people have been coming for over 100 years, well over 100 years, to experience, to have a spiritual experience, and you are so inspired to come, I would love to meet you, love to greet you, would love for you to be part of the presentation, part of the talk, really, I hope, that we all can participate in. And of course, if you are one of those people who like to have some one-on-one time, like to have a one-on-one reading, you can contact me through the contact form on my website, and we can take it from there. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction and my FAQ. Clearly, I'm very passionate about it. How all of this wonderful stuff that's happening this week in the sky speaks to you in your life is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we have got your ruling planet Mars very active in the sky, speaking or continuing an energy that started last week, but in particular this week, speaking with Pluto, speaking with, or rather meeting in the sky, Mercury, suggesting that this is a really important time for you. This is a light bulb moment time for you, a time when you feel that things are moving in a direction that make you feel strong. There are changes happening, and it looks like you're really, really excited about it, and that you have a measure of control over it as well. A part of what's going to facilitate some of these changes for you is going to be conversation and meeting with others. So make sure you are talking, talk to people. This is a great, great time for you to be talking to as many people as possible, because it is going to be within conversation that you understand where your power is, what you can do to move your life in a direction that you like. Now, there's a sort of a grandness to what's taking place now. And what I mean by that is, it is about you thinking big picture. You're thinking long term. You're thinking power move as well. And you are thinking, what is it that's going to work in the trajectory of your life? So I don't see this necessarily as being a small thing. But as I see these changes coming up for you, it does look like you're able to fit them in your mind into a larger picture for your life. And that seems to be inspiring you that much more. Now, for some people out there, you're going to experience this in the realm of money and career. And so this could be you deciding that you are going to spend money on something ultimately that you believe is going to help you accomplish something really big. For some of you, this could be a conversation or meeting with someone who is in a position of power that inspires you to understand what you can do to create greater prosperity for yourself. But for others of you, it may be even more bigger. It may be even more meta than that. You're making changes on a lot of fronts. You're thinking about your life in a much bigger way than you have in a while. And all of this is inspiring you to put forward your very best. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we have got Mars and Mercury in your sign, speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. Now, I know I talked about this in the monthly horoscopes for April, so you are going to want to have another look at that. But in the monthly horoscopes, I remember pointing this out, this time out, saying to you in the second part of the month, some really big occurrences are taking place. And this is it. You are here at this moment. Mars moving through your sign can bring with it frustration, but ultimately the feelings that arise are meant to point you in the direction of where you desire change. It's about being honest with yourself. And it is about you not only having a sense of self-honesty, but also saying, okay, this is what I control, this is what I don't. And so I'm going to focus totally on what I can control and give it my all and create change, make myself happy in the ways that I can, and surrender the rest. That is the best that this week has to offer you. And that really is a lot. This can be a week that for some Taurians out there really changes things, really shifts things in a very powerful way and in a very purposeful way at that. Now, those of you born right around the 5th, give or take a few days on either side, 3 or 4 days on either side, are going to be feeling this most. So if you're born in the first week of May, you'll be feeling this energy more than the other people of your sign might. But all Taurians out there are going to benefit from this energy, are going to be experiencing this opportunity to take ownership for what you want and understand what fundamentally has to change within you if you are going to get there, if you are going to be happier than you are right now. That is where your opportunity is going to be. And I do think that it is inspiring enough, if not downright elating enough, for you to give it a good go. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we've got your ruling planet speaking with a lot of different power players in the sky and moving through a part of the sky for you that is largely hidden, largely deals with what's going on behind the scenes, behind the surface. Now, I'm going to say this. This is the time for you to be dealing with just this stuff. Clear out any energy, deal with this stuff that's happening with you on a level that you can't always pinpoint, and allow it to be okay to have things be a little bit under the radar right now. Coming up just a little bit further down the road in the early part of May, Mercury will be in your sign and will enter shadow, and then in May it's going to retrograde in your sign, and then in June it's going to be in shadow as well. Of course, I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way, but it does suggest that you are approaching an important time where you're going to be thinking, what can I do? What do I really want? Who am I really? And how can I move forward from here? Now, a lot of experimenting and testing is going to go on at that time. What's happening now, so just to put it into context, giving you a little bit of heads up what's coming up then, to put it into context of what's happening now. It's hidden, it's quiet, it might even not always make a lot of sense. Where opportunity comes for you to find closures, for you to bring things to a respectful end, embrace it. It ultimately is going to be really good for you, it's going to be really helpful for you, it's going to be something that you are actually really thrilled about and really buoyed about as well. This also is going to be a week where I think for some Geminis out there, not all, but for some Geminis out there, there is the possibility this week where, and again, this is happening sort of on quieter levels, but there might actually be a little bit of feeling like somebody else or other people are sort of getting in your way or messing you up, if you will. And what I mean by that is sort of messing up your best efforts. You needn't give energy to it, okay? It is as important as you focus on. But this is also going to be a time that is going to be about you thinking about what role intuition is going to play in your life, what role faith is going to play in your life as well. Because I have a feeling for those few of you out there who end up feeling like somebody else is sort of not being honest, or sort of things are happening not necessarily clearly, but a little bit behind the scenes, if I may say so. For a few of you out there, might even be a little bit behind your back. I feel like you know. I feel like something in your instinct kind of knows, and ultimately what matters is how you act from here. I don't see this as being something that you necessarily have any proof of or can even really put your finger on. But if your instinct is saying to you, you know what, you need to create space here, trust that, honor that. If your instinct is telling you that, you know what, you're hearing things that might not necessarily be completely true, you're hearing somebody gossiping about somebody else that they're really nice to, well, then you better believe they're probably prone to gossiping about people that they're really nice to, even if they're nice to you as well. So you're going to just want to watch that. But I don't think it's going to matter. It matters in relation to how much energy you give it. And ultimately, that is a big part of the lesson, deciding what it is that you are going to give energy to, deciding what it is that you are going to calm, and deciding where it is that your power lies, especially the power to create some significant change now, including financial change at that. So there may be that opportunity this week to make a power move behind the scenes to secure a financial opportunity for some Geminis out there as well. And when it comes, I do hope that you embrace it. It'll come, you'll see it, be inspired by it. And if you jump at the right time, you can find yourself moving in a direction of a lot more prosperity. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got all this energy happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendships, but really this is friends coming through for you in a big way. Friends acting on your behalf, friends acting as your agent. And this might even be something with a little bit more of a romantic connotation as well, where a friend could introduce you to somebody that ends up playing a really important role in matters of the heart, but also in other matters as well, professional matters as well. We've got so much happening this week, and it really is thanks to this move of Mercury and Mars in your friendship sector, speaking with Pluto. This is positive change all around. If there ever was a time to trust people, this would be it. Now, I also think, as I look at this, there might be a little bit of doubt, and I almost feel like in the earlier part of the week, there might be a little part of you that feels a little disconnected from vision, that feels like, I want my life to go here, and I want to do this if I'm going to get here, but it just feels so hard to grasp. It feels so hard to understand what I need to put into place to move my life in the direction that I truly want it to go, to manifest the things I truly want. These are the types of conversations I see you having, but I think that it's only going to be for a brief moment. You know, I'm reminded as I look at the sky for you this week of one of my spiritual mentors years ago said that, and I've been really lucky, I've had a lot of spiritual mentors, but anybody can be a spiritual mentor, as I think you may find out this week as well. But what he said was, when faith is healthy, it wanes. When faith is healthy, it questions itself. And this is actually something Michael Barwick, my very dear friend, fellow astrologer, said. And I think that there is so much value in that statement, because we sometimes collectively feel like it's bad to question. It's bad to question our faith. It's bad to question sometimes even like larger themes, larger structures in society, or whatever the case may be. However, it actually adds to a stronger sense of who you are and where you are going. So I feel like there's going to be a moment, a little bit of crisis of faith or something. It's subtle. It's not like this big dramatic thing, but it's likely to be there. This is really because of Neptune, the way Neptune and Venus are speaking. But for all that, let it sort of come out in a dream, especially. So this is a time, just pay attention to your dreams in the early part of the week, in the first couple days of the week. You might find some energetic release taking place there as well. I'm a big believer in things happening and really so many aspects of life changing based on how you deal with the energy. And so be open to that, allow that to take place if it needs to, and then you can let the more positive stuff come in. Be a little bit mindful though of necessarily believing every single thing that you hear, every single promise, especially where it's financial. So people can be amazing for you. People can help you. They can introduce you to the right person. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to, sign away the next 10 years of royalties to them. Okay. So just be a little bit mindful where it comes to financial agreements this week. The energy will shift on that front very, very soon. But at least for this week, where it comes to agreements regarding money, pace yourself a little bit. But where it comes to just allowing other people to be there for you, this can be a really great week for that. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we have got all this energy building at the very top of your chart, at the very top of your sky. This is lots of career energy happening, career energy building, breakthroughs being experienced in the realm of career as well. I do think, as I look at this, that there's just so much promise in this. And it may not necessarily be, although I do think that for a lot of people out there, there is going to be some tangible opportunity that does manifest. At the very least, to have more work that helps you feel like you're being useful, that you're moving your life in a direction of greater achievement. But for some others of you, it may just be you understand what you really want to do. You understand what you really need to change if you are going to make the type of strides that you desire. Now, for a small percentage of you, I actually think that this is going to be more connected to you understanding your purpose, understanding more deeply what it is that you need to do right now, today, in the smaller moments, if you're going to achieve those bigger things. This could be anything from an athletic goal, right? Like you decide, you know what, I want to feel good, I want to run a marathon. It could be something like that. It could be a little bit more personal as well, in terms of you wanting to feel stronger spiritually as well. But in some way, you're coming to a deeper understanding of what you're doing and what direction it is that you're meant to go. And that in turn is leading you to make some powerful changes to your daily habits and daily rituals as well. What I love about this week for you, though, is the sense of purpose, the sense of power and purpose that is on offer for you now. And what I also think is great about this week is that even though we do have Mercury speaking with Jupiter in your sign a little bit over exaggeratingly, so when I see that, it tells me, okay, don't just believe somebody's the boss because they tell you they're the boss. You might want to have a little bit of a contemplation, have a little bit of thought about what exactly is being asked of you by whom as well. But for all that, if you put that to the side, we also have Venus speaking in harmony with Jupiter in your sign. And that suggests to me a real sense that your hopes and wishes can come true, which they can. A real sense that life can be something that feels possibly inspired, loving, a loving sphere, and that includes romantically as well, and feeling like you are connected to something that is greater, that you can allow to work through you as well if you are so inclined. So there's a spiritualness to this week, but there's also a real practicalness as well, and that practical element can have you on the road to achievement towards whatever you deem worthy. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week we have got your ruling planet Mercury meeting Mars, speaking with Pluto, also doing a whole lot of other stuff as well, speaking with Neptune, speaking with Jupiter. This suggests an active week overall for you, a week of positive change and empowerment, a week where it feels like finally the energy is turning, is shifting, is moving in a favorable way, a week that's going to ask you to seize control. Seize control and seize a sense of power to have your life and a key situation go in a direction that you desire. It is going to feel like the fates are very much on your side. Now, I'm not promising you total everything ideal. We've got a mixed bag here overall this week. But what I am saying is, where it feels like the most ideal situation is not easily obtained, where it feels like what you really want is so big that you wish that there was some miracle that could take place to work on your own behalf, at the very least you will be shown what you can do to encourage those miracles to more likely find favor with you. And so we've got this very powerful energy taking place in earth signs as well. The best of you is going to come forward. It will feel like you are very much in your element as well. And so even though there's a little bit of an overreach, even though I do think you are one of those signs out there who's most prone to sort of fudging the details, if you will, just be mindful, stay grounded. And when you get that chance to make an adjustment, a key adjustment that could very well work in your favor, I do think that you will have the strength to see it through and to see it through to some very positive results. So this could be power deal, key meeting, realizing a vision, understanding what you really want, feeling like things are changing very much in a direction that suits you well, in a direction that you want. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we have got your ruling planet Venus speaking with Neptune and speaking with Jupiter as well. So this does suggest to me that on the one hand, I think yours is one of those signs that's likely this week to have a little bit of a likely feeling of a bit of disappointment, personally, possibly in love, but I think the much more likely scenario is that you're shooting for something, you're thinking about vision, you're thinking about where you want to go, thinking more expansively than you have in a while, thinking about what it is that needs to happen right now so that you can materialize bigger things further down the road. Now, this might involve an educational process, it might involve a legal process or a political process even. But regardless, it does look like those areas, while there is some blessing there, there might be at the beginning of the week some news or some feeling of disappointment before it gives way to really positive developments, really good turn of events. Now, we've got a lot of energy happening in the sky this week as well that speaks to matters for you that have to do with home and have to do with money as well. And so when I see a sky like this, it does suggest to me that while where it comes to matters of personal fulfillment and vision, yes, there is a little bit of navigating that needs to be done. But where it comes to matters that have to do with home and how you're feeling on the home front, that have to do with also just what it is that you're doing to create wealth for yourself as well, it seems like things are working really well together. So put those together, home and wealth. This is a really good energy to be thinking about a home-based business. If you have a home-based business, to see a really positive development take place in that front, to see an influx of whether it's work, an influx in the structure that allows you to do even better work. So this might be sort of attaining a new equipment or something to help you in the process, creating an office space that feels more inspired as well. But this could also be sort of the sale of a home, okay? Like buying or selling. Lots of luck on your side this week if that's something that you're trying to do. If you are investing in real estate or you have invested in real estate, this is a week when a lot of things can turn in your favor to have you see some financial gain directly related to a property. Now, this is also good if you are thinking about a parent, wondering about a parent, hoping a parent is okay. This can also be a week when you hear some really good news surrounding one of your parents as well. What I really love about this week for you is that there's this really nice mix happening of love, where you're thinking about what it is that you really want to do, where it is that you really want to go, all that you could do, all that there still is to explore in love as well, whether you're with somebody or not. There's an element of enthusiasm in love that starts to set in as we progress into the week. So regardless of where you are, especially in the realm of relationships, whether you're in an established partnership or meeting somebody new or somewhere in between, it does look like there's a lot of hope this week. And there are also some keys handed to you to show you how it is that you can create greater love for yourself. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week we have got your ancient ruling planet speaking with your modern ruling planet. So Mars and Pluto speaking in supreme harmony. Now, I know I talked about this in the monthly horoscopes. I would have, because it is such an important moment for you, an important turning point moment for you at that. And very likely facilitated by conversation, facilitated by interactions, particularly the one-on-one kind. Now, this can work really well for you if you're just seeking to understand yourself better and to understand what it is that needs to change if you are going to create more of whatever you deem the best that life has to offer for yourself. And so this really, there is a strong focus on the one hand on you, but on the other hand, there is a love focus to this energy as well, sort of a love connotation to this energy as well. So this could be such a time when you either find yourself having a really strong heart-to-heart moment with somebody that you are in a committed relationship with, a moment that seems to really change things, like sort of puts you over a hump, if you will. So if there's been sort of a lag in the relationship, this fortifies the connection. If there's been some misunderstandings or uncertainties, and which can sometimes happen when you've got Mars, as you have been having over the last few weeks, you've had Mars moving through your opposite sign. This can lend itself sometimes to some misunderstandings within an established bond. Well, this is going to be your chance to set things right, to fortify that bond, to understand each other that much deeper. If you are in a relationship and there have been some ongoing issues there within the context of the relationship, this can be a really good time to sit down with a therapist or a mediator to smooth those things out, to have a sense of a breakthrough within the established bond. Now, for others of you out there, this might take a little bit more of a personal tone. So it might not necessarily just be related to love. But if you are a person who is open to love, wants to meet somebody new, this can be a time when you sort of like, I'm seeing like a penny drop, a click happens where you get it. What is it that you can do to create greater love for yourself? What are the barriers within yourself that you need to heal, that you need to let go of? So this can be a profoundly transformative moment that ends up encouraging you to see who you are differently, encouraging you to understand why you are where you are in love so that you can heal that, put that in the past, understand that more deeply, and then move towards love that's going to matter to you that much more, a love more consciously chosen at that. Now, this isn't going to necessarily be entirely romantic for all Scorpios out there. This might also be much more of a personal process that has to do with understanding the people who are on your side, the people and how they reflect you in your relationship. And it's almost as if there are people, and this is a very like people-oriented time for you, but there are people in your life who are aiming to put up a mirror, show you who you are, to call you on your stuff. And this is a week when, if you can sort of make it past the, whoa, did I just hear that? What is that just happened? If you can make it past that little moment of, oh, wow, I can't believe this person's calling me on this, then you are going to find yourself moving in a direction of self-reflection, moving in a direction where you realize, okay, yeah, I understand what's been going on here. I understand some of the deeper issues that have led me to where I am, and I want to choose to be different. It can be as profound as reshaping of identity in the most positive terms. Now, if there ever was a week for you to decide on something you want and take a very determined and purposeful action for it, feeling a sense of cosmic support on your side, this would be it. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got your ruling planet speaking with Venus, speaking with Mercury as well. And, you know, I look at the sky this week for you, and there is a sense of pleasure, certainly. There's a sense of love and being loved. But there is also a sense of sort of understanding that sometimes you've got to approach moments with some caution. Approach moments watching your words, and understand that words sometimes are not interpreted the way necessarily you intended. But also, I gotta say, this can also be one of those weeks when the Freudian slip just really gets the best of you, and you go, wow, okay, I didn't realize that that's what I really felt, or how that could be taken. Now, this can work to your advantage if you allow it to lend itself to self-reflection, but if you can, to the best of your ability, sort of hold compassion as your main value as you head into mainly your interactions, you're going to help yourself tremendously all around, especially where it comes to your workplace interactions. So this week we do have Venus moving through your opposite sign. Now that's good for love all around. That tends to bring about a feeling of wanting to be with somebody, that it's possible to you, which of course it is. If you're in an established bond, this can be really nice. But I gotta say, if you are in an established bond, you are one of those signs out there that may end up experiencing more of the way that Venus is moving, in terms of Venus is having a somewhat challenging conversation with Neptune at the beginning of the week, which gives way to a positive conversation, an easy conversation with Jupiter. So this does suggest to me that if you are in an established bond, the early part of the week can bring some miscommunication, maybe a sense of disappointment, but that gives way to a renewed sense of possibility between the two of you. If you are not in an established bond, this is a good time. There's a strong interest in having somebody who can be there with you one-on-one, but it might involve you first looking at where maybe you felt let down in the past, and now can embrace a much more positive belief that there are possibilities of love in the world for you, that there is love in the universe for you, which there certainly is. But as I said, there's also this energy there that's saying, especially in the workplace, hold compassion. Compassion is so important. And in the workplace, keep your sense of awareness about how your words may be interpreted, because they might be interpreted in a way that you would rather they weren't. And actually, they might end up actually being quite honest. And I say this because we've got Mercury and Mars moving through part of the sky for you that has to do with the workplace. And the way that these planets are speaking, and especially Mercury speaking with Jupiter, your ruling planet, I mean, this is very much to me about the Freudian slip happening. However, you've got this really supportive energy, Mars and Mercury speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. It needn't go in a direction that is not absolutely empowering and positive, okay? It just takes a little bit of awareness, and it takes a clear intention on your part. So hold that as a priority, to have yourself be a positive force of transformation in all your interactions, and to hold compassion as your highest ideal. And if you come at the world from that place, you're going to find that you don't inadvertently do something that ends up hurting somebody's feelings. And also, you will find that the interactions that you do have end up creating really positive effects, not only this week, but also beyond. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got Pluto in your sign. So Pluto's in your sign. I say this to you a lot because you might as well get used to it. You might as well get comfortable with this. This energy's been in your sign since last decade, will be into the next decade. But this is one of those weeks where we are getting some really powerful developments, positive developments, as Pluto is in your sign, speaking with Mars, speaking with Mercury in supreme harmony. This is great for just about anything you want it to be great for. And this is speaking right to the heart of you. And this is going to allow you to bring forward your best, to feel like you're in your element. So of all the signs out there, the earth signs are particularly blessed this week. And for you in particular, and especially where it comes to love and fun and creativity and fertility, you've got lots of cosmic support on your side to enjoy yourself to the nines. So we have got this energy there that does suggest a very powerful flirtation, powerful transformative exchange or moment that really helps you to understand where you are in terms of what you are drawn to and what kind of experiences you want in the realm of love. So those of you in an established bond, this can be a really powerful reconnection with the person that you're with. But those of you who are, whether or not you're in a bond or not, I gotta say there's such energy here of just sort of coming upon somebody, having this, kind of spontaneous to a certain extent interaction, flirtation, that really helps you to understand what you want in life more, that you want that experience and that feeling of love and of creation, really. That's when I think love is at its best, when it is an encounter with the energy of creation. So it can actually be a very spiritually significant thing as well. Of course, your intention says a lot depending on how you look at it as well. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this is a time when you could just do that. Now, I personally would like to see things in the sky happening that suggest a little bit more stability than we see right now. So at this point, can't speak so much to the long-term potential, but if you're open to meeting somebody new, this is a week to prioritize fun and along the way come across, sort of find yourself in the midst of an exchange, a flirtatious exchange that really ends up helping you to shift something, helps to be a catalyst for you in some way. And how far you want to take it, of course, is always up to you. But there's also that energy of creativity and fertility now. And so if you are engaged in any kind of creative process, this can be a huge breakthrough moment for you. Any kind of artists out there, you've got huge cosmic support on your side. This isn't just in terms of what you're actually creating, which is blessed, but also in terms of professionally as well. So if you're trying to get your art out to a larger audience, or your creativity or your creative projects out to a bigger audience, in terms of really having an impact with what you're doing, you can certainly make some wonderful strides this week in that regard as well. And as I said, fertile, lots of fertility energy in the air right now. And so if that is something you want, then you've got lots of cosmic support on your side. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got this really strong energy continuing to build at the very base of your chart, at the very bottom of your chart. And it is from there that you are going to find yourself slowly but surely building something stronger and stronger. And this week especially, you are going to notice yourself taking a lot of sort of steps forward in your understanding of just what it is that you want to fortify in your life, in every area of life. And so what we have happening here is Mars and Mercury moving through the base of your chart. Now, on a literal level, this does have to do with home, okay? So yes, it's a metaphor for home. It might be, and it can manifest very literally in terms of you finding, and this is going to be based very much on what's already happened in the past. But this can be you like sort of, you know, you thought you wanted to sell a long time ago and then you just let it go. And then somebody comes back with an amazing offer and you sell really quickly. This could also be you buying really quickly as well. Like you made an offer and then it didn't work out and then boom, it comes back. The opportunity comes back and you're able to make some gains on that front. So that's on a very literal level. If you want to move, this is also one of those things where out of nowhere that opportunity can come and you've got to seize it. You've got to run with it if that is something that you want. Mars and Mercury moving through this part of the sky can make it feel a little like Mars likes to bring up little irritations sometimes. And ultimately, the higher lesson of Mars is for you to tap into your own power. And it is, I think that Mars ultimately is really about the serenity prayer. So the serenity prayer is grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's how I see Mars in its most highest understanding. Certainly not in its most immediate lower vibration, but in its highest understanding, it's very much the serenity prayer because it's about the intelligent use of your action and understanding where your power is. When Mars moves through the very base of your chart, it can just feel like something is off, something's off within you. Sometimes people feel like they don't like their home space that much and can't really put their finger on why. Sometimes your relationships with your parents can feel a little bit, not as smooth as you necessarily would like. And this ultimately is about tapping into the wisdom of that serenity prayer. So if you can do that, then you're going to find yourself bringing forward the best of this energy, the highest form of this energy. And that's when you really are going to allow at least one really great opportunity to come in that does improve your circumstances dramatically, that does help you seize a moment to empower yourself and to feel like you are truly creating transformation that has the potential to last a really long time. Transformation right at the root, and literally in some cases, right at the root of a situation. And so, as I said, home, family, but also you in terms of how you're feeling in your own skin as well. This can also be a really good time when you seize on a moment of negotiation and make an agreement around these areas as well. So if you're looking to transform your relationship with your family of origin, looking to bring a sense of transformation and healing and progress into that dynamic, this is a week when you can make some powerful strides forward. But also a really great week if you're just looking to like renegotiate a lease or just looking to actually find something new that just resonates as your place of power. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we have got Neptune in your sign, speaking with Venus, speaking with Mercury. It does suggest a week when you're talking to people. There's a lot of sort of interaction happening on a level of conversation, on a level of intellect as well. There's a lot of negotiation energy taking place as well. And when I look at the sky, I think to myself that if ever there was a time to prioritize being social, if ever there was a time to pick up that phone, to reach out a message, if you think of somebody, send them a message, you'll be surprised at how quickly things can move now to improve your life, overall improve your life. And this is due to a lot of different factors that are taking place, but mainly because what I'm seeing is friends and conversations, alliances that you have, moving you in a direction of feeling like hopes and wishes are being realized. I am seeing an element playing out here that has to do with you really feeling like, while you may have to, in all honesty, you might have to sort of get over a little bit of a hump of facing some issues of, am I worthy? Some issues of insecurity, which happen to all of us. All of us have that, but it looks like there's going to be one moment for you early in the week where that might come about for you. Once you can get over that hump, you are going to find yourself able to communicate with such ease and forge connections with people with almost a poetic sense. And so if you allow yourself to just be in the moment, to speak, to converse, and especially where it is that a situation needs to be infused with compassion. And so, as I said, early in the week, there might be some issues of self-doubt. There might even be some hurt feelings or something, a situation that happens, possibly, in all honesty, possibly with a family member that leaves you feeling a little bit sore, maybe pushes a button a little bit, but you can't quite put your finger on what actually was going on there, what happened, what just happened. Talk it out. I promise you, if you talk it out, you will bring such healing, not only healing, but a real sense of changing things, transforming the relationship profoundly. So this is especially true with family of origin, but really anywhere where it is, whether you feel it comfortable directly speaking with the person or not, it is words that are going to give you such power now. Spend time with friends. They are the ones who have the most opportunity to bless your life with. And so wherever it is that you're seeking improvement in any area of life, and I mean it, any area of life, talk it out. This is a time to bring words and give voice to whatever it is that you're feeling and whatever change it is that you wish to experience, whether it's love, whether you want to attract somebody new, whether it's professionally, whether it's with your health even, whatever the case may be, speak of it. If you do that, you are going to find some solutions just to land in your lap that really can change just about everything for the better. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.